Welcome to Uncensored. Uncensored brought to you by PointsBet. Check out PointsBet's great odds and offers. Download the PointsBet app today and gamble responsibly. Well, today's guest is a Kiwi international. He's a Premiership winning player, one of the most popular players in the competition, not only one of the most competitive, and he's got more nicknames than I've had Sunday dinners. Brendan Smith, welcome to Uncensored.
Thanks for having me.
Mate, what are you calling yourself these days? There's hectic cheese, double cheese, champ cheese, mac and cheese, rotten cheese. Well, where are we at? You got more nicknames than P. Diddy. I was actually going to say you got more nicknames than I've had benders, but I didn't want to say things.
Everyone calls me cheese now. Bellyache kinda just calls me cheese. Champ cheese is over because it's a new season, but hopefully I can be champ cheese soon.
Double champ cheese. Now it started with Wombat, didn't it? You were the Wombat originally.
Yeah, the Cowboys. Jonathan Thurston called me a wombat in the showers one time. I don't know why I was in the showers, but I've been stuck when someone like that.
I've been called a lot worse when I've been in the showers. Firstly, I want to give a big thanks to my brother-in-law, Tommy Johnson, I've been staying down here for a week. So you can imagine putting up with me for a week. Yeah, and he's right. He's a mortgage broker, one of the best in Melbourne. So I give him a shout out. TAJ Finance. I tell you what, do yourself a favour, put your millions to good use, cheese. Unlike me, I just spent all my millions on women and alcohol, and I wasted the rest. So, thanks Tommy and Karina for having me. But mate, we'll start way back in New Zealand. Waiheke, is that how you pronounce Waiheke Island?
Yeah, born and bred on Waiheke Island.
Where's that in New Zealand?
So it's just like a 35-minute boat ride from Auckland, bro. It's just covered in vineyards and there's always a gig on every Friday.
Right down your alley, the vineyards.
Yeah, always something to do and full of snot-nosed little brats as well. So I didn't really fit in with the brat category. But, I was a snotty nose.
Mate, Cook Island and Maori descent?
Nah, I don't know where the fuck.
I
don't know where the fuck Wikipedia got Cook Islands. I've had so many people ring me from like the Cook Islands Nines and like Cook Islands things, just saying, "Oh, can you play for other?"
I'm not from Cook Islands.
Like Cook Islands whatsoever. I think I played like in under like sevens or nines, like one game for Cook Islands. There's dodgy years, so I think it's just stick from there. But
obviously New Zealand, mate, it's a
Māori Norwegian.
Māori Norwegian?
Yeah, my grandma's Norwegian.
Really? That's a mix.
I'm a Viking.
Mate, well, I'll tell you what, you play like one, and we'll get into it earlier. The celebrations, you certainly were like a Viking after that grand final. Mate, I want to get into you growing up. Obviously, unions, it's massive in New Zealand, and there's such a, they set such a high standard in world sport, the All Blacks, especially around Auckland. Was union ever on the radar for you?
Nah, like my old man was just so anti-union it wasn't even funny. It's just rugby league household, and my uncle Roger, he used to play rugby, and my dad would just bag him and call him a homo. And just flat stick would just hate rugby. I don't know where the hate came from, but like my dad thinks he's the rugby league pro. He's never played a game in his life. But he knows everything about it.
It's like most old men.
Telling me how to run triple shape and shit. I'm like, get out of it, mate.
Mate, how were you as a kid? Like I have an image of you as a kid that resembles like the Tasmanian devil, just full of energy. What were you like? Were you like that as a kid, or just out in the streets till the sun went down? And
bro, I was pretty much lived with a footy. Like I'd go to school with my football boots on, but I was a little fucker.
Yeah.
Like I'd piss off everyone. Always had a snotty nose and like just always annoying people. Like I'd catch the bus with my brother and sister, and I wasn't allowed to catch the bus anymore. I used to like go under the sticks and like spit on people's feet. And, just like a real bad like kid, just like real nuisance. But everyone just got used to it because my brother was pretty big, so everyone just left me. Everyone left me alone.
Is that your brother Dylan?
Yeah, there's not.
Is he old? Is your older brother?
Yeah, he's my older brother. He's he's pretty big fella. So, and all his mates were all my mates. They used to bully me so bad, and they don't bully me anymore. So
yeah, sure, the big dog now.
Good. Yeah, pretty much.
Well, mate, speaking of your brother Dylan, you moved to Townsville because he gets a contract with the Cowboys, and you go. It's a bit like the Bromwiches, how Jesse got to start because Kenny got to start. Jesse's been one of the best front runners for the last 15 years.
That's a crazy story, that one.
Mate, so you go to Townsville. That must have been a huge change, from a little island in New Zealand to now to 87-degree heat in Townsville.
Yeah, it was huge, and the biggest thing was like my dad was just, like as wild as I am, he was real strict. Like I wasn't allowed to go out and party, so I'd have to sneak out and stuff. But I wasn't allowed to go out.
You weren't allowed to go out, but you still found a way to get out?
I found a way. That's how you got to do life. You just got to find a way, overcome and adapt. But yeah, I wasn't allowed to go out. I wasn't allowed to go drink with my mates and that. I always was training real hard as a young kid.
Yeah.
And, you know, I did boxing like pretty much all my junior life and trained pretty much every day for footy and that because my dad was pretty strict on it. But the big change was when I moved in with my older brother. Like that just all went away. Like I was just allowed to do whatever I wanted. Like go to school, and if I got in trouble, like my brother wasn't answering teachers' calls. Like, and I guess it just set a crazy platform for my whole life in Townsville from the real get-go. I was only 14 when that happened. So
you were over there 14 just with your brother. How old was your brother then? So he was like 19, 20,
yeah. So my older brother was 20, playing in the under 20, just first year out of the under 20s comp. So I was living with him and his wife, and they had a big blue, and we got kicked out. And then I moved in with.
You have a blue when you're 20. I'm 30, I'm nearly 40, and I'm still fighting with my missus.
Yeah, I moved in with like Blake Leary. Do you know Blake Leary? I stayed on his couch when I was like 14, and I just remember they'd be drinking, and he'd like. I remember one story. He bloody came home from a night out, and I was on the couch still, and I woke up. And he was just like playing the guitar naked with these chicks. And I was like,
you're 14.
I love this life. I want to be a footballer.
Well, yes. Tell me about it. It's good fun. But you moved to, you go to Kerwin State High, which is a rugby league high school. And how was that? Were you into school much? You talk about boxing, actually. I'll just take it back before. Was boxing ever a chance for you to go down that path as a professional, like to try your hand at boxing instead of rugby league?
Yeah, like I boxed a lot as a kid, like almost every day, and it was a path. Like I had like 6 fights as an amateur, and I didn't lose any, but I fought some absolute bums. I went fucking full.
Hey, that's the way to do it.
I went full Gallen style until he fought bloody
Mark
Hunt. But yeah, I had an opportunity to go to the New Zealand champs, and but the same time was the rugby league tournament, and my dad was. Pretty anti me boxing and stuff like that. So, I took the rugby league journey, and then bring me to Townsville. Yeah,
so the Kerwin State High, that's obviously a well-known rugby league school. Again, a bit like as a kid, every time I see you, you're cheeky without being rude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love that. We like that at school. Like we're just waiting to get out for lunchtime, but it's a bit hard to keep. You know, like you're looking out the window when the teacher's talking to you, sort of thing during class.
I was like always naughty in class, and but I was really smart. I always got real good like grades and stuff, and I just didn't do my assignments and that. So. But like I was a teacher's pet in almost every class, even though I was like an annoying little bit, like little shit. So I don't know why I had like I was loved by them. Even the principal was favourite. Like I could rock up to school sometimes and at like 10 o'clock and walk in, and he'd make me a Milo, and I'm like, bro, this is the principal we're talking about, right?
Well, this is a Catholic school. You never know making a Milo what that'd be for. You know what the Catholic system's like. You better be careful.
Yeah, he passed away now. It was John Livingston. But yeah, one time we were playing rugby, he came over and started like playing with my hair around. This half time, I was like, what's he doing, sir?
We've got some things to talk about the psychologist, and I'll tell you. So you progress through, obviously it's a big footy school, Kerwin State High, and it's obviously a feeder sort of school for the Cowboys there. You go on and you play the Cowboys under 20s. You also played Junior Kangaroos, I think that's Junior Kiwis that same year, 2016.
Yeah.
Now, what happens at the Cowboys? Like, how... Are you wearing a Melbourne Storm jumper if you've been in Townsville since you're 14 years old? How do they let... Because at the end of 2016, you play the 20s, you play your Junior Kiwi, so you're on the radar as one of the best young players coming through in Australia or New Zealand. And certainly around, the last 10 years, the progression of the juniors, of the Polynesian kids or the Kiwi kids has been huge. So... like 20 years ago, the Aussies used to give the Junior Kiwis a touch-up. Now it's neck and neck. So, being a Junior Kiwi, you're in the handful of some of the best young kids in the game. How did they let you go? Did they not want to keep you? Because At the end of 2016, you make a huge decision in your football journey and sign a 3-year deal with the Storm.
Yeah, well, I was a bit of bad luggage, like coming out of Kerwin. So when I got signed for the 20s, it was when my first year pretty much. I was 15 and I made the Queensland team and stuff like that in school footy. And then when I was 16, I was getting shipped around from homestay to homestay. So my brother had to move to Mackay Cutters. Yep. And I probably lived in like 7 different foster homes, and like the Cowboys paid the rent, and I was cut like wild as a cut snake. Like I'd go out all the time, never be home, and I never really built a relationship with any of those families that I lived with, except one who was one of my friends' parents. But even that, I fucked that up somehow. So I was pretty I was pretty damaged goods, and I had about 4 written complaints from the Cowboys for just off-field stuff with parties, and then on my last one, I got in one of my friends got in a fight at a party, and the copper was kind of like grabbed him and kind of like roughed him up. So I went over and just like open hand punched it, like the copper. And then he just grabbed me and dragged me in the paddy wagon, and then the next day I had to get in a conference room with my parents on the phone and everyone. My brother was there, and my parents were crying, and the Cowboys sacked me, and then I went and moved to Brisbane, and from there I got re-signed back in 2015 to the Cowboys 20s, and I don't know, I was still loose off the field. I didn't really learn my lesson so much, and I guess in 2016, that's what Craig Bellamy does, bro. He saw the potential in me, and he saw the
I'll just go back to getting shipped around to 7 houses as a kid. So how old are you then? 15?
Yeah, I was like...
And like you said, you've come from New Zealand where your dad's quite strict, and, certainly similar to the upbringing I had, like... my dad was pretty fun, but there was no drinking underage, there was none of partying, and footy was quite serious. That must have been quite hard to know, you're a bit dirty on the Cowboys, getting shipped around. That's hard for... I come down here to visit Melbourne, because my wife Ellie's from down here. You go from brothers to mum and dad, that gives me the shits. Let alone as a kid, that's where you're living, and you're getting shipped from house to house with people you don't know. That must have been really hard. How do you look back on that time now?
I don't know. I look back at the time and think that what happened then, if I had not gone through that, I think my career would be even further more than it is now. It would have been I would have started a lot earlier. I think it damaged a lot of things. Like I was a full-time bonghead, bro. Every single day, and the people I hung around were all the same, and I don't know, it's just an escape. And I just didn't, back then when I was moving house to house, footy was just a hobby. It wasn't I didn't think anything of it. And every day, bro, I had a job, and every day I'd go out, party with my friends, get fucked up, and then I'd go to bed at 3, bro, wake up for a 5 o'clock work, building apprenticeship.
At what, 17?
16? No, 16, I'd do this building apprenticeship, wake up, and then repeat that every single day.
Well, mate, and that's nothing to look back on, mate. Obviously, I've known you for a little while now because my, being former Storm boys, and I'm always down there. Obviously my struggles when I retired, some of the substance abuse issues I had. Because I retired from footy, I'm 32, 33, and I couldn't handle that. Being a kid at that age, I couldn't imagine dealing with that sort of stuff.
The hardest thing was, bro, I'd still tell my parents that everything's all good.
Fine.
I'm happy. I was happy.
Because you've never been you're not a whinger, are you? You deal with shit yourself, get on with it.
No, I'm a born survivor, bro. You put me in a situation, I don't give a damn, I'll fucking come out of there.
And do you do things out of spite? Like if I say you can't climb that building, you're going to climb, you'll stay there and wait till you climb it till you get it.
And it's a kind of a thing, because people will be able to get me to do shit that I shouldn't be doing, and I'll easily just fall into that trap of just... whatever, mate, I'll do it. Don't worry about it. But it's the worst thing about it was just telling my parents that like everything was all good, and it sort of wasn't. Like I don't even think they know half the story about like all those houses that I moved at that I just was never home, and all that stuff. But like, I didn't want to stress them out at all. I didn't want them to feel upset or anything. So, but like I said, I felt like my life was still fun and enjoyable, but it just damaged the career a little bit.
Well, and I really appreciate your honesty with that, you know, and you know, that's, you know, it's really open and honestly, it's great because a lot of people, you know, go through similar things. But mate, you say it damaged your career. Geez, I fucking hate to see your career where it'd be at if it wasn't damaged. Mate, you're 25. What are you, 25, 24, 25? 24. Yeah, man. You played for 5 years. I played for fucking 25, and you've still achieved more in 5 years. That's a pretty honest thing to say, but mate, really at 24, mate, I look at you like, because being a part of footy clubs, you know, you remind me in a little way where you look like the Joker, you look like a rat's ass, but you're more serious than anyone when it's time to train and play. And players know that, you know, you love a drink, you rip in and have fun, but at the right times and when it's needed. See, I'd look at you now and like, you know, you've got that fun side to you, but you know, footy's extremely serious to you, and you're you're highly regarded within the footy club at Storm, you know, which they don't tolerate dickheads, you know what I mean? So you must be proud of, you know, where you're at right now, and you're still only a young man yourself.
Exactly, but that's the thing. Like with Belzer is, the Cowboys offered me a contract, but it wasn't like nothing compared to what the Storm offered. And like for them, because they knew everything about me already. The
Storm?
The Cowboys had given them the rundown of how I was and stuff like that. And Craig flew down with Frank for one of the Melbourne Storm against Cowboys games, and we had to have a meeting, and it was with my mum, and I was come off for like a 2-day bender. Like, went straight into
it. It's never easy.
Went straight into
it. No, it's hard enough to go and talk to Craig fresh.
I had like salmon in front of me. I was like, fuck, I don't want to eat this. And
just moving food around your plate.
Bro, he pretty much just laid down. He's like, we know what you like, but we will get the best out of you, and you just. We love people that drink. We love to have a drink, but you can't do anything illegal, and you can't drink when you're not supposed to be drinking. And like, I was like, fuck, these guys, like, they offered me a 3-year contract, and I was just damaged goods. I was like, bro, sweet. And then
obviously they knew you weren't damaged.
For that preseason, as soon as I got in, I was fucking fired up to go. And I remember Belzer like gave us these big spiels about, you know, your first effort is your best effort and like all that shit. And I remember my first like fitness run, we have to do MAS, which is just fucking 50. Yeah. Bro, I was beating everyone by like 30 meters. My foot, like we had to do like 3 sets. My first 2 sets, I beat everyone by like 30 meters. And then the last set, bro, I couldn't even walk. Like,
but he would be happy with that.
I couldn't even walk, and he was like, he got me in the office and like, bro, we love what you're doing. We absolutely love this. This is awesome, but we want you to finish the session. And I was like,
he used to hate the other end of the spectrum where you might do 5 1.5K runs or 5 2K runs, and you know the bloke that sits at the back for the 4, and then the last one he comes running. He would hate that, so that's what he used to say. I'd rather you go hard and not finish the last one. It's sort of like a metaphor, you know, figure of speech.
I'll tell you this one story. We were at Geelong camp 2 years ago, and they brought in this new fucking fitness drill, bro. You have to run 100, like a coat hanger. You have to run 100 meters and then run to the other corner. Bro, Munster was coming last, every single one of them. The last one, it was like, we had to do like 8. The last one, Munster won by like 10 meters. And they just stopped thinking, fuck it, we're doing it. We're all doing it again. Bro, Munster packed the shit here. He beat everyone by like 20 meters. Like, I was like, bro, you're just a bloody piss day.
Well, I'll talk about the Storm. Go back to when you mentioned how they said they know what you like. That I'll tell you one thing I've always thought about, like, you know, the rat pack or the rat bag or the scallywag, so to speak, for lack of a better term, the Joker or whatever term you want to use. That type of, you know, one of the boys type in the team. I've always found, and in any sport I look at, at times they might push the boundaries off the field like fun, but when the game's on the line, when all the chips are in the middle of the table or the pressure's at its heights, they're the ones that go, give me the fucking footy. Yeah. I want the ball. Yeah. You know, like I look at you, the bigger the game or the more someone calls you on, the harder you're going. You know, Munster's got that scallywag in him. Mate, his last month of footy, including Origin, was just fucking off the charts.
Yeah.
You know, those sort of scallywag or, you know, the rat bag, so to speak, for lack of a better term, yeah, they might push the, you know, or they might not do things perfectly off the field, but when the game's at its most critical or the pressure's at its highest, they're the blokes that want the ball in their hands.
Yeah, and that comes from training as well. Like, whenever Munster is fucking, you know, if they're losing or like the rest of it, like, Azza and
But you're the same.
Bro, well, I just like to fucking...
Compete.
I like to be that guy that, like, actually fucking change the game. And, like, off the bench, that's my whole goal. Is like, if I come on, I want the boys to know I fucking come on, and I want the boys to know I gave it until I came off, you know?
I'll talk a bit about your role a bit later, Hook, and it must be frustrating at times, but it's such an important role. As much as you want to be a hooker or a lock or, you know, because what you do, you're unlike any other player in the competition, which gives the Melbourne Storm a huge advantage. We go back, was there any other clubs when you signed for the Storm and the Storm? So was there any other clubs chasing you? Or it was. I'm
not even sure.
But it's not a bad. If there's only one club chasing you, you must have been doing something right.
Yeah.
And I guess this shows what the Storm's like. That you're really honest in where you say where you're at in your life at that point. But they must have done the research to go, you know, we can sort this other stuff out. We've got a hell of a footy player underneath it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I don't even think any other clubs were after me. I think it was only Storm and Cowboys. Like, Cowboys offered me like a 2-year contract, and I think Storm's was 3. But I didn't even matter. As soon as my dad rang me and told me, "Oh, Storm's want to sign you," I was like, "Bro, I'm going." Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, Craig Bellamy was pretty much the only coach's name I knew as a kid. Like, I didn't even know Wayne Bennett. Like, I just knew Craig Bellamy because as a kid I watched. Yeah. The Storm just rained terror on everyone all the time.
Now, I'll get to your relationship with Craig in a minute now. I know he sort of, I'm sure he would ride you, but he loves those sort of characters in the team. What was your first impressions of actually Melbourne as a city? Because you've obviously grew up in a small town in New Zealand, gone to Townsville, now Melbourne. What was like fucking...
Yeah, it was fucking weird, eh? It's still, to me, like, it's not...
How do you go the hook turns and all that stuff?
Yeah, bro, I can't drive in the city. I can't do the hook turns, man. I still haven't, like, grasped how to do those, but, yeah, it's just such a different dynamic. Like, Townsville to this and traffic, bro. Like, I live 2K from training. Sometimes it can take me 45 minutes to get there.
Try living in Sydney. Don't ever... Hey, you don't want to move to Sydney, I tell you.
Yeah, but the city was... It was so lively, and I guess we just went to the same places all the time. So
still
CQ and all that.
Yeah, still does. When we did CQ, it was the first nightclub Will Chambers took me to. Old CQ, corner of Collins and Queen. So, what was your first impressions of the club? I remember my first day. I'd left 4 games into a 3-year deal at Parramatta to come down here about round 5 or 6. And I remember training my first session, and so I was one of the oldest in the club when I come down, about 27, 28. And the Storm had already, what was that, 2009, so they made 3 grand finals in a row. They'd been 6, 7 and 8, and they'd lost 2-1-1. So all Slater and Smith and these guys, they're the best in their positions. Yeah. You know, and Cronk's under 30, you know, like he's still in one of the best halves. And I remember going on the field and training, and I had to do some media after it. And, mate, those blokes were the last blokes off the field. Like, like this is 10, 12 years ago. Yeah. And my first impression was, wow, this is the standard that's set here. What were your first impressions of the Storm when you come down at the end of 2015? Would have been the end of 2016.
2016.
So they get beat by Cronulla in the grand final.
I went to it was, like, it was crazy, the whole camps and all that stuff, like, how, like, much effort they put into, like, just, like, I don't know, like, the training and everything is just so complex, but everyone, it just drives each other. Like, the Melbourne Storm are a player-driven team. Like, Belzer and that, they do everything they can to make us better, but everything is, like, today we had a meeting, but the meeting was just, all the ruckies go to breakfast together and just talk, and like that. That's what it's about here. And in Melbourne, a lot of us, we don't have any family or anything, so we all got each other. And but just the standards that they drive is just it's fucking crazy. Yeah, like even Cameron, like he still to this day, he's the last one out. And he's the last one out there by like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And he'll come in late and he'll still do all his gym and do everything. Like, you'll never see Cameron Smith miss a rep in the gym, like, not once. And I've done gym with 1,000 times, bro. And I'll be watching him trying to see if he's doing it, but he will never miss.
I'll tell you what, I'm lucky he didn't watch me do gym.
he never faltered from ice baths or like warms. Like, every day he do the exact same thing. It's just drilled into him, and that standard for me and Harry when we would do a gym with him, it just, we've got to do this.
That's what it's expected from the hooker, isn't it?
We can't skip this fucking rep, and like, even though we're training we get in at 6 a.m. Like, my first year, I was waking up at 4 a.m. getting to the gym at 5:30.
We still get home at 3 a.m.
I was training from like 5:30 to 7:30. Then I'd have to go fucking concrete all day till like 3 o'clock.
Lucky you're on 900,000 now. You know.
Go from 3 o'clock to training, and then train from like 4:30 to 7:30, and then I'm home by 9, bro, and I'm just
cactus.
Fucking.
You got to do it all again the next day.
You got to do it all again. I was like, bro, this club is actually fucked up.
Yeah, I go back to your point, and it's hard when people talk. What's the difference with the Storm? But one big thing is you talk about how the players drive the standards, and that's from years and years of bellyache setting a standard, and then you had Slater and Smith. And blokes like Brett White and Dallas Johnson, and then older blokes like myself came here, and then Ryan Hinchcliffe and Cooper Cronk, and the list goes on over the years where they set a standard, and then it's your turn. And like Cameron, whether we're not too sure, we're not too sure if he's alive at this stage, but if he makes a decision to go on or not, everyone's wondering, will he play, will he not play? Well, is he alive? No one knows. But then then you're coming into that phase now. You're an international players. I'm a young kid coming through. I'm looking at, I'm playing with Brandon Smith. Yeah. So you set standards, and that's what they like. That's what I was first amazed at, where you'd get up in the plate, you'd have your goal, and the team would go whether your trademarks in a tackle or defence for the game, and your teammates would give you a yes or a no, and I'm going, what the fuck's it like? This all about? The team set the standard, and then obviously blokes like Jesse and Kenny, the Bromwich brothers have taken over, and Dale, and you're coming into that, Munster, you young blokes now who are bona fide superstars of the game. You just pick up where the other blokes that taught you blokes left off.
It's funny you say that Craig drives the standards, bro. When I was saying that I'd rock up to training 5:30 for gym, he'd already be in there fucking smashing the roller, just dripping sweat. Like this fucking 80,000-year-old man doing, just smashing the roller out, and then you walk in and you're like, how am I complaining? Like, he's getting $1 billion to do it. So,
that helps, doesn't it?
But yeah, like you said, he drives the standards, and I remember like my first year, I still got on the piss all the time, like all the boys, because we had our little young group. Yeah. And
well, you do as a kid, we
had our young group, and that was how we connected. And I remember just rocking up to training on Monday, and I'd be dusty as, and people like Jesse go, bro, if you're gonna fucking drink, we come to train, and I'm like, bro, I'm all about that. I'll do that. It's all good. Well, and it's like, if you drink on the weekend, you're never sick Monday. You've never got an injury Monday. Nothing.
You know what you do? You get through Monday and have Tuesday off. That's right.
You get through Monday and go, fuck, me ankle sore. But
exactly right, mate. And that's where there's times I love to drink during my career, and there's times I probably drink at the wrong time, but. One thing with the Storm, well, you turn up and fucking train hard, which, 99.9% of the time I did. No, it's okay, as long as it's in the right time, but they didn't care. I talked about first pre-season, the Army camp. Run me through the Army. Do you remember your first Army camp?
I missed the Army camp in 2017. Fucking Nelson broke my kneecap. But it's weird, like, when I was my first year, like, Nelson... Like, you try to get your body in front and be real tough and stuff, and bro, it's just not a good idea with him, mate. Like, but you wouldn't help you. You're the ultimate. Not that you're a small man, but he's 8'10". I'm gonna fucking chop him in half. Yeah, you couldn't help yourself. You wouldn't be able to consistently for a whole preseason, and everyone would tell me, "Don't keep doing it. Don't keep doing it." I was like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah.
Like, but and then now you see him doing that to the young fellas, and to me, he runs it straight, and now he pulls up, and I'm like, fucking, we got that respect. We got that respect.
We just don't need to challenge each other.
That's my man. And then even when you run at him, you see him just kill some blokes. Well, and then now I'm like, I'll run here, take a little bit easy on me. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, well, I remember when it was the end of my career, so I had to go to England for the 2 years to Wigan because the salary cap, and I come back and you do wrestling, and Jesse Bromwich and Kevin Proctor, and these boys, they were kids coming through, you know. I used to take them out and drink and give them money because they were kids, they had no money, and I was like 30 and single. But they were the only, like anyone else was, you know, everyone else had girlfriends, so I'd be out with the 18, 19, and I'd have to give them cash to come out with him. But then, no, you'd go to pre-season, they'd look after a bit, and Jesse was doing that to blokes like Jordan McLean.
He's doing it to me.
But you know what I mean? And Nelson comes through, and now the evolution of it all, and which is great. You know, like, fuck, I'm long retired now, but you look back and when you're the young bloke and how you get through, and then all of a sudden you get to that stage for the first time, like Cameron Smith or an older bloke might go, come for a beer, and you go, yes, I'm getting that. Then you're the whole cycle, but. So the army camp, did you get to go? They would have had to go on one because everyone has to go on one. They sent me one on one when I was 30.
I went on one in 2018, so 2017 was my first pre-season, the end of 2016. And yeah, it was, bro, like everyone pumped me up, like pretty much just told me exactly what I needed to know. And I just remember Craig coming over to me, like just before we did it, and he was like just before we were starting, it was probably fucking 4 a.m, and he just goes, if you don't win this, I'll be so disappointed.
Because you'd played first grade.
He goes, if you don't win this, I'll be so disappointed in you. And I was like, fuck.
Like the man of the army camp.
I was like, fuck, bro, I gotta fucking do this shit. And that right there, as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, I gotta win it now.
And you know what? It's probably the best thing for you. I went on it. Like I said, I come in round 4. So we win the comp in 09, albeit we're 48 million over the salary cap. We win the competition. And I get sent on the army camp because I never done one. So I'm 30. I'm 29, and I'm going on with 17, 8. Well, this is Gaz Widdop, Jesse Bromwich, Kevy, all these young boys. They're 18, 19, you know. And I've played over 250 first grade games, and I've just won the NRL comp. And I remember one of the instructors, like one of the SAS guys, or whatever, they say something to me, and I like just roll my eyes, and he goes, "Purple 1." He goes, are you tough enough to make the next step in your career and go from under 20s to first grade? And I'm like, I thought I was like 18 or something. Obviously, be baby face. And I'm like, oh, mate, if I play one first grade game, it'd be unbelievable. I was fucking 31 years of age or something. You know? Like, I was in me last year. So we talk about the 2017. You talk about at the end of that year, you went on your army camp, but you debut that year against the Knights in round 13. You score a try on debut. Fucking, that's a good way to get off your duck straight away, but. Let's just go back to you make your debut. And it intrigues me even more now to know your answer to this, knowing, you know, your time in Townsville and how much, you know, that, like you said, that damaged you. How proud of you were you to achieve that? And how proud was your family and your brother? And not only that, how proud were you of yourself to not only debut, but debut at a team which was one of them.
Yeah.
Like 2017 Storm team, they'll go down as one of the greatest teams ever. You're debuting in that team where 3 years ago, you've been honest enough to say where you're at. You must have been super proud of yourself to do that.
Yeah, bro, it was a crazy feeling because, Belzer told me I was going to debut, and then the Storm are a really good, you know, family-orientated club, and
they celebrate milestones well, don't they?
When I was running out, I didn't realise that my parents, they had flown them down, and when I was running out in the thing, I could just see my mum and dad standing there, and I was like, fuck,
right,
bro. I was crying hard out, bro. I was just looking over, and I was like, holy shit, this is happening. And bro, I just started getting so nervous, and I was like, holy fuck. And I was just sitting on the bench, and I was watching bloody Cooper Cronk, Billy Slater, like people. I'm just like, I can't, like it was just you couldn't even believe it moment. But like it was funny because as soon as they told me to get up on the bench and it's like, oh, you're going on, I was just like, fucking oath, like let's go. I got on, and the nerves just went straight away, and I was like, fuck. But at the same time, I was just had so many things going through my head, bro. I just wanted to do everything, and I wanted to. I could try to put a kick in. I didn't put a kick in 6 years, and Cooper's like, "Hey, leave the kick in to me." I was like, but yeah, it was the best feeling ever, and I knew 1,000 people had me on a anytime try scorer. So I couldn't let my people down, man. Fuck,
mate. I know, I've never played with you, but I know the top player. I know the top player of the Storm, think you are, and especially like a bit like us. The rat bag sort of thing might portray to people like that you don't give a rat's. But you're a player to play like you do, and I know what you are, not only towards your teammates, towards the club, but towards your own performance. You're a highly emotional player, and highly emotional bloke because you give it means a lot to you. Yeah. You care, mate. That must have been like you said when you seen your parents, like fucking. You're trying to not only concentrate on the debut game, but now your parents are here, and like you said, there must have been a million things going through your mind.
Yeah, look, bro, I was crying my eyes out, man, and just seeing my mum and stuff like that, like. Everything they've gone through and everything they don't even know and all that stuff, and like even though they were like they're not well off, they're cleaners and they own a cleaning business, but everything I ever needed, like if I needed money when I was struggling, they'd send me money. If I need, and even if they weren't, even if that put them in a tough position, like that, I'd get everything I wanted so I could be doing what I'm doing right now. Yeah. And, that pretty much was the moment everything paid off. Well, I guess the ring was the moment, but everything was just everything they put in all the time, the effort. 4 a.m. wake up, so I go to training at 4 a.m. I was complaining for the first 2 weeks of preseason. They've been doing that for 30 years, and like for them to fucking, be able to see me, like I said this plenty of times to people, like I had a dream as a kid to be an NRL player, and I had that dream since I was 3. Like. My brother, everyone in my family played league. I eat, breathe, and shit it. I wanted to be an NRL player, and then running out there is like I'd done it, and I'd done it for them. Like it's pretty cool, bro.
Fucking hate it is, mate. Well done. Now, run through the 2017 season. Like I said, and I tell people I'm biased towards the Storm. But I think I'm quite, in terms of my, they're my favourite team, so I'm biased. But in terms, I think when I make judgments I say it honestly. I can remember teams. Probably as far back as about 86. I'm about 5, 87. I was about 5, 6 years old then. But I look at the Storm, the Raiders team of '94, the Broncos of '98. There were some pretty handy teams there. Certainly those Raiders teams during that dynasty, the Broncos, maybe Broncos '92, '93. But the 2017 team for Storm, probably because I was a bit older and had a more emotional tie to it. It was one of the most dominating teams I've ever seen. Yeah. You smashed the Cowboys. But mate, and if the game keeps going longer, you win by another 100. Yeah. Run me through that season for you as you're first in Melbourne and being a part of this, and then winning the comp, the club's winning the comp there. What impact did that have on you going forward into that pre-season?
Well, like I said, with the player-driven thing, bro, being in the room with Coop, Billy, and Cameron when we're in video sesh, bro, it's like poetry in motion. Like Cam will stand up, just dissect this whole thing. Bill get up, stand up, point out all this shit, and I'm just going, what the hell? These guys know so much. Like they're looking at body language of people, they're looking at shoulder, and then Coop will put his opinion in, and then, bro, that year, after their loss to Cronulla and we had the pandemic thing, after that, bro, they were just on song because we have to train against them as the Renegades. Yeah. Like we have to train, and it's just, bro, it's like how are these guys going to get beat? Like they're just so, they're literally a well-oiled machine. Just everything flows, and it didn't even look like they were going to lose the con. No. As soon as, with all due respect to the Cowboys, when they won the one against the Roosters, I was like, fuck, I'm getting ready for the celebration. Yeah. Like, there's no way they can win it. Without Thurston, there's no way they can beat.
Or Scott.
Yeah, there's no way they can beat them. Like, it's just impossible. I just, everything about that team with Bill and Coop and that, it was just, every time they talk about footy, it's just passion and just love and just so smart, bro.
Yeah. I remember having those sort of guys in the room. GI was the same. leading to 2009 grand final week. Gee, you sit in the back corner. Fucking never say a word in video. And the first thing is, Craig, take that back and breaks this down. And I'm sitting next to Will Chambers, and I'm going, Chambers, we're going to win the grand final. He goes, what's this? Mate, GI's talking, you know, like. But you're exactly right. They're amazing how they can break it down. So 2018 rolls around. Defending premiers, just win the World Club Challenge, which must have been a great thing to be a part of. You're a part of it, and now you're really made your presence felt now at the club, and you're a regular in the 17. Was that your goal going into that year to break into the team and become a regular in the
Yeah,
Storm?
for sure. With like Slade Griffin leaving, I knew that it was like 100% a spot for me.
I think
like,
if Slade was there, he still would have it too.
Yeah, but I think there's 100% a spot for me there, and I wanted to make it my own.
Yep.
And yeah, it was pretty guttering. I didn't get to play in the Cameron Smith testimonial. Yeah,
That was in Brisbane, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
Against
missed
the Cowboys, wasn't it?
I missed the fucking physio appointment, and Craig
Did
just
you?
rang me out. He was going, "Nah, you're not playing." I was like, "Oh, that sucks, bro."
But I bet you don't miss another
Nah,
physio
I didn't
appointment.
miss another one after that. Just,
Mate,
just late to a couple.
Yeah, just late. As long
Didn't
as
miss
you
it
get
though.
there. Mate, I remember a game that year, and I'm usually pretty good. I think it was about round 23. You were injured at the end of the year, and your team was depleted. I think you played Parramatta, and you were in. He's won the game. Did you win the game? I'm pretty sure he's won the game.
Yeah,
and you were
yeah,
outstanding in that game.
Yeah.
And I remember just seeing that. It was the first game I was like, fuck this. You know, I always thought you were a good young player, but I thought, this bloke's, fuck, there's something different here. Did you remember what game I'm talking about?
Yeah, I done my medial that game. So.
Yeah. And you didn't go off. You kept playing.
I kept playing for like 10 minutes, but it was fuck. I was just hobbling on because Craig was like, he said to Barry, he's like, "Can you stay out here?" I was like, "Oh, I can if you fucking need," but. Bro, I was pretty useless, and then I ended up making a tackle, and someone lost the ball, and it was in the meeting, and then it was pretty cool. So that was a pretty tough season for us, but I know that exact game you're talking about,
mate. So 2018, the grand final, mate, and as biased I am towards the Storm, I've never seen a Storm team not fire a shot.
Yeah.
We didn't fucking land a blow.
Nah.
One thing I've always seen about this, and this is credit to an amazing performance from the Chooks, because 2018 they're virtually playing a man down. I used to always say about Cooper. Cooper touched the ball twice. He missed 2 tackles and did 1 kick, and he's a hero. I had them stats every week, and I was fucking hopeless. I used to get booed. I get contracts torn up for those sort of stats. He'd become a hero. He touched the ball twice. I used to do that and get kicked out of the close. But essentially, Cooper played his role. Kira was outstanding. But, mate, the Storm, we didn't fucking land a blow. I've never seen us, whether the word's bullied or blown off the park.
Yeah.
How was that after the game and in the sheds? You know, because there's not many games we're never, we're usually in it at some stage, you know what I mean?
Oh, that game there, it felt like I was on the bench for the whole first half. So it felt like they just came out there, bro, and just punched us square in the nose. And we could not recover from that. We were just like, what the fuck is going on? And, bro, it's so frustrating just sitting on the bench for fucking all of the first half and just seeing nothing changing, like nothing in the whole momentum was just Roosters the whole way. And, I don't know what happened that game, but that year was a pretty, clunky year for us. In general, we had Brodie Croft in the halves, and then we had Tuesday in the halves, and everything was always chopping and changing. So I think we just didn't really have what it took to beat that Roosters side. Because, like you said, with those Raiders and Broncos team, that Roosters side there will probably go down in history as one of the greatest teams of all time as well. That 18-19 Roosters team, they're fucking and still to this day, they are just they probably have the same principles that Melbourne Storm have, and they have the same thing coming through with just the way that Jared talks about it. But after the change rooms, for me it was pretty emotional. I feel like we put so much thought into Cooper, whether he was playing or whether he wasn't, and I think we just invested too much time into the Roosters instead of worrying about us. And it was pretty sad, especially because it was Billy's last game, and I think that one hit Cam really hard, and because they're fucking tight as a nuns.
Yeah.
But they he was just real sad.
And how was it for yourself? Was you grow up thinking about, I'm sure you did, like you said, you've lived and breathed and shit footy. I was the same. As far back as I can remember, I had a footy in my hands. You think about grand finals as a kid, win the grand final, kicking the winning field goal, scoring a try, making a tackle. Fuck, hang on. I lost my first 2 grand finals at the Roosters, 03, 04. It's like, hang on, this is not how these this is not how I've dreamt for 20 years.
Exactly.
What the fuck's this all about?
Yeah, I was visualising the night before me making the fucking game-winning break, straight through, right foot onto Desco. But it wasn't to be. But I knew that like it wasn't going to be my last.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be my last time here. I'm still signed at the Storm for fucking. They've made the last 5 grand finals of the last 6 years, so I knew it wasn't going to be my last time, and I just thought, just keep working hard and keep thinking, and you'll be there again.
Well, mate, talk about keep working hard. At the end of that year, I'm sure a part of winning a comp or playing for the Storm or playing first grade was a dream, representing your country.
Yeah,
but that's as good as it gets for. Individually, that's the everyone wants to win a competition. That's in my opinion, that's the ultimate. But for an individual honour to represent your country is huge. And again, I'll go back to you've done it the hard way. That must have been really proud for not only yourself but for your dad and your family.
The comp was good, and it's hard to distinguish between what was truly better for me, because debuting for my country, it was on home soil. And I had fucking everyone, all my family there, everyone I knew watching, and bro, we beat Australia, which is like, my dad was talking to me like, don't worry about the result, like he
just
saying,
don't
worry about the result, just think about it and focus on your game, and bro, just playing that game was so, bro, doing the huck and listening to the anthem, bro, I could not stop crying. I could see my family. I could see, even running out of the fucking tunnel, I had all, these old school, so the Waiheke Rams is the thing, I had all these old school, fucking heroes of mine when I was a kid, because I thought, A-grade footy was, NRL back then when I was the ball boy.
Yeah, you're there.
And I had these old-ass guys just screaming at me as I was running out. I was like, holy fuck. Yeah. How the world changes, man, it's fucking, that was just the best feeling ever.
And the thing too, and I talk about back the, obviously it's the Warriors coming in 95, but the quality of the Polynesian and the Kiwis and the Maoris, and obviously there's just the Pacific Island nation, I'm not like Fiji and Samoa and all those. The quality of players and the standard of those type of players that have come into our game in the last 10, 20 years, it used to be the biggest exciting thing for Australia Kiwi Test match was the haka, because after 20 minutes the Kiwis would be fucked, wouldn't it? And that's what it used to be like. You play the Warriors, just hang in there the first 20, but it ain't like that anymore. So, like you said, not only you blokes won, but to get into that Kiwi side, we're talking blokes like Bromwich, Jared Weir-Hargraves, you mentioned there. They're probably the two best front rollers of the last 20 years. Sorry, James Graham there, but there's two blokes that have won 7 grand finals between them. Yeah. And they're your front rowers, and you look back, Kieran Four and other blokes, Benji Marshall, over time, Tuivasa Sheck, and I'm sure I don't want to miss out on anyone there, but saying the superstars of our game now, that must have been a thrill that, this ain't a token fucking gesture. You need to be performing to get into, you need to perform to make this Kiwi team.
Even just finding out I made the team was was fucking crazy, because we were on Mad Monday when the team got announced. We were at the.
You were in a good form too.
Bro. And I remember Jerome.
Was it on your radar?
Nah. We didn't know the teams were getting announced, and I didn't think, because the fucking crazy thing was, bro, Michael Maguire picked me as the starting hooker, and I'd played 35 minutes at hooker. 35 minutes at hooker that whole year, and I was like, what is this guy doing?
But you were a hooker growing up.
Yeah,
right?
I was a hooker, but he'd seen 35 minutes of
mostly off the bench.
Probably 80 minutes of my football career as an NRL player. He had seen me at hooker, and he just said, we're bringing you in because you come from a winning culture. You know what winning's about, and we want to.
Well, Madge was a part of the Storm.
Exactly. We want to bring winners into the Kiwis team, and then I was like, oh, sweet. And bro, Jerome, me, and all that came together at Mad Monday. We were like, what the fuck? But yeah, like I just shout out to Madge because like he saw something in me, and I thank God I could repay the favour.
Well, mate, yeah, and again. It's funny how it all sort of flows on. Like you play for the Storm and the respect Bellyache's got and Madge has been there. So you know, like if I didn't know you, Smithy, I know straight away, yeah, I may see things on social media, but I know you're not a dickhead because Storm don't fucking cop dickheads. Yeah. You're a hard worker, you're honest, you're a kid. Like Madge has been a part of that system, so you know straight away for this bloke to be successful there, he ticks these boxes because they don't last at the Storm if they're not. So we go to 2019. Fucking, you're a first grade player now. You're an international player now. You play virtually the whole season. You're all runaway minor premiers. Yeah. Fuck, for consistency, and it's a weird one. I look at the team. It was a very good team. Don't get me wrong, but you just fucking blew everyone away in terms of minor premierships. Yeah. But then you lose to the Raiders in a heartbreaker. You go the long way. I think you knock off Para the next week, maybe. Yeah, and then you get beat by the Roosters in. It was a tough old game. That again, the Roosters just seemed to have just have you covered always just a bit. How disappointing was that, considering you dominated the regular season?
It was pretty much a replica of the 2018 grand final. Like they just came out again, and I think they scored like in the first 3 minutes, and. Yeah, it's tough to watch when you're on the bench, but to the Roosters' credit, they were a fucking well-oiled machine.
Yeah, but I certainly didn't think that game was a close game, but it just always seemed like
it didn't seem like we were going to win.
It always seemed like they had their noses in front, didn't they?
I felt that as well, and like every time that we sort of had a reply, they would have a better reply. And, players like James Tedesco were just fucking the worst to defend, bro. The worst.
And I've now spoke to Bellyache about it, and I thought you both were going to win from a long way out. I said, because a couple of things I thought changed this year from last year. I thought last year, and Hughesy was still a bit green around the gills in terms of being halfback, and that wasn't his fault because he'd had about a week and a half. Yeah. He had the last 2 games going into the finals, where this year he'd had the full season and he's one of the form halves. Yeah. In the comp. He's one of the best halves in the comp 12 months later. So going into this year, and I thought Paps at the back, Ryan Pappenhausen, where we missed a bit of that X factor that Slater had, which Tedesco had, because he was still a kid. Give him another 12 months in first grade. Yeah. We've seen this year, Pappenhausen had a few length of the field jobs, the old school kick returns, and we've seen what he did in the grand final, that bit of X factor, because there's no doubt the Storm pack is better if not going to hold itself, on a bad day, you're going to, you just still do enough, you know what I mean? Yeah. On a good day, you're going to fucking blow teams away. But it's had a bit of extra, which was the difference this year. And I guess when you look back, how does that feel in terms of when you look someone like Pappenhausen, when you see him go to the length in the grand final this year, or, because you're doing the shit stuff in the middle.
Pappenhausen, I love...
And to have a bloke that can just go to the
length. I love playing with him in general, because even when he was playing in the ruck, he'd put his body on the line.
Because he used to come off
he's an absolute virgin off the field, but fuck, he's tough as a $2 steak when he's on it. So, and he'll give you everything.
Because he played through the middle, didn't he?
He'd come on at lock and shit, and he'd be coming out and throwing his body in front. But honestly, players like him are the best to play with. He's going to turn up every day, and he's not really going to have a bad game, because if all goes to shit, he can just hold the ball and run 33 carries a game and make 300 metres, and he'll always be there. And
and that's why I said the difference this year, and we'll get to this year now, 2020, just touching on what you said there. That's why I think Munster and Jerome, they stay like I was a halfback. Or 5'8", through and through. So if you boys aren't going forward, I'm fucking cactus. Yeah. If it's a slow play the ball, there's no way I'm making a break. Yeah. I need a quick play the ball. I need like A back late or A coming off the line, not square. Yeah. Where like Munster and Jerome, the little Mexican, I reckon he looks like a little El Chapo, little Jerome. Probably shouldn't say El Chapo around me and you, but anyway.
Craig calls him Wuhan.
Well, mate, they're both fullbacks. So even if things aren't going their way, they're going to give you over 100 metres carrying the footy, you know what I mean? Like, where me, unless, you know, normal halves, you know, like a young Cleary who's a terrific young kid, but if you nullify their forwards, you can take away a lot of their game.
Yeah.
Where, if you can take away some ball playing ability off Jerome and Cameron, but they're still going to fucking run the ball a dozen times each.
Munster cannot pass the ball in a game and and get a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, that's how good he is. He's just fucking...
Well, then we go to 2020. I always talk about, you know, a year when teams win the comp. Do you look back and did anything happen in the preseason where you think, fuck yeah, or was there a feeling, or I guess it was such a fucking weird year. But was there anything there we thought we can?
It wasn't really during the preseason. Like the preseason was pretty like a crazy one. Like we moved to Albury first. Like we had that 6 weeks off.
Well, talk us about COVID. How was that?
Yeah, that COVID break was pretty good. I flew back to New Zealand. But they were in level 4 already, so yeah.
They let you in? They let you back in?
Yeah, they let me back in. The king. But yeah, I flew back and I kept it pretty low key because like I wasn't even allowed to go see my mates and stuff, so I just stayed around New Zealand. But it was just good to get back home. And
now, was that year the Maori All-Star team?
Yeah.
And you were 2-try man of the match. Now you're a try-scoring machine.
Yeah.
And you get the MOM. That's a nice way not only to start the year, but that must have been a pretty special honour in itself, even though it's only an exhibition match to be a part of that team.
Like that was the thing. The All Stars game before that, the 2019 one. It was like the game when you were playing. It felt like it was a novelty game. It didn't even feel like
trial game, innit?
Like, and I remember Adam Blair came in the thing and he was like, "I don't want this to be a novelty game. I want us to go out there like we're representing our people and stuff." And I guess that really hit home. And I don't know how the fuck I pulled that out of my ass. I don't know how I pulled the Tonga game out of my ass. I don't know how I pulled the Australia.
Well, mate, did you score the 2 tries? Which one was it, the Tonga where you come back?
The Kiwis one.
Kiwis,
and I put the fucking ball on Felicia. I put it on Felicia's foot. Yeah, I scored that. Fucking refs.
Well, mate, let's talk about your COVID, and let's talk about the Storm form this start of this year. Oh, mate, the amount of times now, fuck, if I had $1 for every year, Storm, someone writing them off. They're done now. They're done now. Now, you're fucking done again. Again, you start the season great. You win the first 2.
Yeah.
Then you just come out of COVID and you're a bit rusty, weren't you? You weren't great early. And everyone's saying these new rule changes aren't going to suit the club. Well, can you think back then? What did Craig say? Did he just make any adjustments?
Like pretty much have a meeting with Smithy and said like, hey, how do we fix this team? Or like how is this affecting what you're doing, Cameron, and how is this affecting what the ruck's doing? And we work on those rule changes all the time. Like we bring in like it's no secrets, but refs come in and talk to us, and we have meetings with them and to find out what exactly is the go, and they adjust the drills so we can be accustomed to all those shit, and it just works. And bro, the best thing about the COVID, best year of my life was probably that year, like getting to just be I know that you're the same, but just getting to be around the fucking boys
24/7
every single day, and we had so many piss ups, bro.
Yeah.
We had so many drink ups, and all the partners had drink ups, and everything was just.
Well, Toddy Payton, a very close mate of mine who coached the Warriors, he got me up because they were in Terrigal. A bit like what you boys usually on the Sunshine Coast. And I think he's seen how much they were hating it. And he just got me talk to me how that's what I've missed. You know, you missed the bus trips, playing ping pong. I was single my whole life. Obviously not now, Dale, but single my whole footy life. That's nirvana for me. That's it. That's heaven for me. You know, on the bus to training, back with the boys swimming in the hotel room. Bro, and you're living on the Sunshine Coast. You know, mate, for once in my life, I wouldn't have been invisible. My team would have been half decent. You know, how did you go with all that? The relocation, was it hard early, or did you find, you're in warm weather, it makes you want to get out and train and play? And
it was pretty tough early because the first 6 weeks of it, we didn't have anyone. We had it ourselves, but I didn't find it hard. Just the single blokes found it pretty hard when they were like, no more bloody chicks. So had to sneak them in like Christian Walsh.
Walsh is a big dugong.
But yes, he is. But it was it was hard for the first 6 weeks, but then the Storm adjusted it like they do, and they made it work, and they got the partners over. We had so many events, bro. We had like 3 Mad Mondays pretty much during that year, like dress up party. Yeah, dress up party, bro. We had like the bar, the outside bar with the pool and deck and everything all to ourselves. So being able to throw a function there
was there any other guests in the?
Well, it was fenced off, so like they weren't they couldn't come like and the other ones were like the Collingwood people, so like all the AFL teams or the netball teams. So
netball
it's pretty handy, yeah.
Well, it used to be like the thing used to be growing up. Oh, you come through. Oh, who else staying here? The netball, and it just used to be the fucking the joke every time, and you'd always get someone go, "Who? What team? What netball team?" You know, there'd never be a netball team there. Like, you'd be wishing there was. Well, that's. You know, the single boys then wouldn't have to worry. Now, well, you start finding your form, and the back ends of the season form, you start building some momentum, and you must start me thinking, well, hang on, because the Chooks aren't the Chooks of the year before. They've had a few injuries, and you can see they're stumbling. Yeah, Penrith had a marvellous season, win 17 in a row or 15 in a row, whatever it was, but they're not unbeatable. It's not like you know, it's not like you're going to be worried that you can't beat them. Are you starting to think, fuck, if the cards fall our way here, we're well on track. Yeah,
like I just remember that after beating the Roosters in that prelim final, bro, like we were on, like we were as a team, like we were so.
And you did beat him. He's given him a beat down, really.
Yeah,
didn't you?
We were so confident in going into that grand final, and like Smithy was saying, we lost to the Penrith by 6 during the season.
And that was the start.
And we played like shit.
I think that was just after a week or two after the COVID break, wasn't it?
Yeah, we played like shit, and it just like all that confidence was oozing through us. And when we went out there, we pretty much done what the Roosters done to us that year in 2018. And it was fucking best ever. It was pretty much like I was pretty much celebrating. I was celebrating a bit too early because they came back. But
well, let's take it back a bit.
Yeah,
let's take it a week for Canberra. Now, this is one team that you have had trouble with, you know, and they got players in their team that love a contest or love a dogfight. You know, like I look at you like the old alley cat. You know, the alive going, you're ready to go. And they've got Bateman and these blokes, you know, like Tarpany and these young blokes who are the same, you know. Like yourself, they're not afraid of anyone. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the ego, or the bigger the reputation on the other side of the fence is, the more you want to knock it down. You're like it, they're like it.
Yeah.
And they've come into our backyard in Melbourne and pulled our pants down a few times in the row now. Yeah. Now we're up at Suncorp, which, mate, we haven't lost up there in like 20 games. It's just ridiculous.
It's the best.
You should never, mate. You blokes are that good up there. And I'm sort of thinking, I'm confident we're going to win, but I'm just thinking, you've had trouble with this team. How's the team going in the back of their mind that this has been a bit of a bogey team for us?
Yeah, like, it's just every time we play them, bro, we just get caught up in their shit. Like, they're so good at just making the fucking game just a dogfight and just... I guess, and when I was watching from the bench, like, they just didn't fall into it. Like, everyone just played to their skills, and like we moved them around, then we went straight through them, and it was just it was for once playing the Raiders where it just wasn't just a shit fest of just people going at each other and fucking falling into Bateman, fucking trying to fight everyone, and just we focused so heavily on starting well against them and starting well against the Roosters, and I guess that was the main goal against every team for that thing was just starting well, because every time we didn't, that's when we started fucking falling off. But yeah, it's just watching Pappenhausen and fucking Josh Adokar and just being able to watch them just go the length of the field when you're a ruck and your ass is hanging out. It's the best thing in the world, bro.
It's like when you see someone make a break, you don't want to look up and see me holding the ball. You just, fuck this, he's fucking going nowhere. And you want to see the Fox or Pappenhausen or Munster or something. But mate, a couple of things you said in that game about that game there where you moved them around and went back through them. This is one thing, especially up there on a dry track, where I think the Storm and you are going to be extremely hard to beat again this year, especially yourself, Munster, Pappenhausen, Jerome Hughes. The leg speed you blokes have got and the footwork you blokes have got, you incorporated with you're like a fucking bulldozer. Munster's more a bit wiry. Pappenhausen's just pure speed. up there when you got quick play balls, you might move them around. Excuse me. You might get Nelson or Big Jesse one-on-one on a quick play ball, and then you got you blokes flat and fast up on the advantage line. Smithy might take half a step to hold the marker up, and then you blokes get deep into the markers, which I mean you get deep past the markers, and you're giving yourself one-on-ones with A defenders, blokes with speed and footwork. You blokes just fucking blew them off the park.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's so hard to, when we're on song, it's so hard to fucking defend. Like, bro, you got Jesse, Nelson, and they're just tightening the ruck up, and as soon as you get one quick play the ball, you've got fucking Hughes, Munster, Jack or Josh O'Car,
yourself.
Like you got Justin Olam who
where'd he come from?
He'll run into a brick wall at 100 miles an hour
and literally knock it down.
And if you want him to, like his name is the human brick or fear. But yeah, like he's the quiet.
There's another great story, isn't it?
He's the quietest human on earth, but his footy intelligence is second to none. Like. He's like a physicist or something. Graduated
I can't even spell that word.
I know, mate. He graduated from university and just the most quiet-spoken dude. But like, he will do anything for you. Yeah. He'll take his jocks off if you want to. He'd take his jocks off if you want to.
Retirement's been pretty tough. I might need. I need something. So you go into 2020 grand final, like you said, the confidence is high. Mate, the referees are fucking a disgrace how they let the team back in.
Yeah.
But let's just talk about, mate, was it 20-0, 22-0 half time, 20-0 half time? It's fucking a clinic.
Yeah.
I
was
hey,
sitting,
what are you thinking?
What's going through your
head in the first half? Smithy scores that try. What's your thoughts?
Oh, I was just sitting in the locker just going, fuck, I don't even need to go out there and do... I don't even need to go out there and just blow my load. I can just go out there and fucking just get my job done and just try to do it to the best of my ability. But I felt like, fuck, we were just trying to score even more tries, and it's the bloody Storm way is trying to put a foot on the throat. And the game got real scrappy towards the end, and... we weren't really playing Melbourne Storm. We weren't really playing.
But you certainly didn't get a helmet.
Yeah.
But you get sin bin.
Even when
that's not a professional foul, mate.
Yeah. I saw the time. I seen it was like. I seen it was 20 seconds. I was like, I'm gonna hold this count for 10 of those 20 seconds.
But mate, it's not,
Bro, when Kaleri scored, I was like, no way we just let that happen. He beat like 7 defenders. I was like, what the?
But she was all over one, and
at no point did I feel like we were gonna lose after we were up there by that much.
Now, so it must have been. At half time, fuck, I'm going to win a grand final here. But when the siren goes, it's you've ticked. Kiwis was ticked the year before.
Yeah.
Now you're a premiership winner. That must have been pretty impressive.
Bro, it's just crazy. I just like looking back at what my life was like and looking back.
Do you often look? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But do you often look back? Because mate, I'm quite taken aback by. And I really appreciate your honesty saying what you said earlier, how it was in Townsville. But, mate, you're one of the, you're in the top dozen. So, like, if there's a team now, you're picking the best team in this game. You're in the fucking 17, whether you're 13 or you're 14.
I appreciate that.
No, well, this is my opinion. If I'm fucking picking the best team, whether I put you at 13 or I put you in number 14, each to their own, it's no different for me. You're one of the best players in the competition. Now you're a premiership winner. Do you sit back and think on days like today or when, fucking, it could have gone another way.
Yeah.
I could have gone down another path.
Yeah, I think about that all the time, bro. And like, it's I'm just glad I didn't, bro. For the sake of my parents and for the sake of all that stuff, I just am so stoked that fucking like I didn't. I'm so stoked that I ended up at the Melbourne Storm. If I stayed at the Cowboys, I would be fucked.
Yeah.
Because I'd still be in close vicinity to the people that would be able to fucking ruin my life. Like even now, I'm still loose and still wild. But if I go out in the training paddock tomorrow or whatever, regardless if I've been on the Bears fucking all day, like I'm a different person. Like that's what everyone sees.
It's time to be serious.
Like you said, everyone sees this like larrikin and this guy that loves pissing. Yeah, that is me. But as soon as I fucking step onto the training paddock, even in meetings and stuff like that, like I'll get cheeky to Bowser in that, but I'll input everything I know and everything I want to like let the boys know, and I'll train as hard as anyone and as hard as I can. I spew up fucking 7 times a sesh, whether it's speed day or not. Like whether I've eaten nothing or anything, I'll spew my.
Because you care, mate. You care about the club, you know.
And
it means a lot to you.
And I love my life. I love the rugby league life. I love it. Like I get to be around my 22 best friends every single day. I get to go out on the weekend fucking with 12 of them, sink piss every day, all day, and just have a great time. And I know that those guys, they're going to do the exact same thing. They're not going to come into training and fucking start mucking around. They're going to come in and they're going to train their ass off as well. It's just got the best culture.
Yeah, that's a great answer, mate. And you're exactly right. Because I can, it's like you take the words off the tip of my tongue when I was playing. That's the crazy thing. You do something like playing footy, which is a small percentage of people can do. It's at the top end, one of the hardest sports in the world. You're doing it with 20 of your mates, you're fucking winning. Yeah. You're having fun, you're drinking piss. And then, that's why I struggled so much. Then one day, it's fucking over. And you're like, hang on, I've just like, at least you've got another 10 years left. And I'm like going, fuck, I've done that for 15 years. What am I going to do? Yeah. We'll go back to the celebrations for the grand final, mate. You're fucking outstanding. I'll get to it in a minute, but what I love about you, what you see is what you get, and in this day and age, and certain parts of the media are to blame, but the players certainly can fucking loosen up a bit and show their personalities more. But there's no doubt sometimes people who are themselves, the politically correct fucking world carries on a bit too much. So I understand why players can be a bit in their shells, but mate, your personality. I knew what you're like anyway, but I think for fans out there, you were fucking a star in those celebrations, which were great. First of all, your interview, I think, was with Freddie on the field. That was gold. Yeah. Run us through the celebrations and what it was like, because you just had this fucking ski mask on.
Yeah.
And
that was like, I felt like big time because of the ski mask and stuff. that was all Sandor Earls doing. He made sure the boys had bloody championship shirts, these ski goggles, because he wanted to emulate like the NBA feel. We were fucking smoking $300 cigars and shit. But yeah, it was the best thing ever. And like the thing about the interview and stuff with Freddie, it was like,
it was just you.
I wasn't thinking when he was talking to me. I was just I was under the best emotion in my life. Like if you could bottle that up and just like have it for it would be the best
thing.
Save
a lot of money, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And just when he was asking me questions, I wasn't even really fucking thinking about it. I was just talking to I was just saying what was on my mind and. Saying what I was literally about to do. I didn't sell the ring. I didn't run out of money.
Hey, not when you're on about TV in trouble. When you're on 800,000 a year, you run out of money. I don't think even I could waste that in the weekend.
I wasn't that desperate, but
you don't hang out with me too much.
The best thing was, I could, even regardless of the media being in there, everyone had every right to look as fucking sloshed or as. As pissed, and you can just do whatever you want, and like the media can't be angry at you for that. Like you've just done everything you want, like everything you've wanted to do in your life. Like how can the media come in and ridicule you that for having a good time? Now
a part of this is really shone through. But did Joey give you the nickname Cheese, Block of Cheese?
Yeah.
So Joey used to call Blocker Roach. He's Blocker, and he'd call him Cheese, Blocker Cheese, and it never stuck. So everyone would always go back to Blocker. So when he'd seen you and you're back. Because your hair was a bit longer when your hair a bit longer. And
it was dramatic effect when I got smoked.
When you were but it was all good. And you're big in the shoulders. It looked like you had no neck and you're out there. Right? And it was, mate, first thing, Joey, Blocker Cheese, and the cheese went like what? And then there was Champ Cheese. Yeah. And obviously there was someone in, was it the Lakers that was the...
Yeah, that Dion Waite. So this guy on Instagram...
And it went nuts. It went through the roof.
This guy on Instagram sent me a video when the Lakers won it. And it was like this a guy doing this fucking thing, like saying he's Champ Cheese or whatever. And like I that day,
So this is before the game?
Bro, this is I don't know, Lakers won it like 4 weeks before the grand final. That day he sent it to me. I fucking remembered it. I watched it and I like remembered it in my head, knew it off by heart, and I was like, I'm gonna win the grand final. I'm gonna fucking say this exact fucking thing he just said. And I ended up doing it. I ended up saying it, and like everyone can relate to NBA, so it just took off. And that guy actually
wrote back to you.
He shared it on his Instagram. So I was like, "Fuck, this is like unreal." I've just found the now my Lakers friends are sharing my posts.
It's international cheese now.
I was waiting for LeBron to give me a call.
It's global cheese. Now, talk of interaction with fans. I've actually seen you, and actually one of the new sponsors for the Brett Finch Uncensored podcast, Swish, you're on, which is a platform where fans can write in and pay for you to send them a message, and that goes to charity, the money raised. But some of your stuff on there is fucking outstanding to the fans. If anyone gets a chance to have a look at it, mate, you must enjoy that side of the social media and the interaction with
like it. I don't mind. Like they're paying money to give me for me to do that stuff, and charity's getting it, of course. But like I'm not a shy person, and like if someone comes up to me and asks me for a photo, I will refuse to say no, because I was that little kid. Like we were all that little kid that would run out, and if that guy was like, you can have a photo.
I still get autographs when I was playing against players.
And make your day. Like even on Instagram, I'll reply to as many people as I can, because I know that that actually does something for their day. But in Byron, it was pretty tough. Like there's a lot of people coming up. But
it's a pretty small place. There's not too many places you can hide.
The best thing about the cheese thing, and like how Dan Kemp or whatever, and bloke in the bar has portrayed me, and like I'm a good guy, so there's no dickheads coming up to me and making fun of me, or there's no dickheads saying pull your head in your piss. Like it's all love. It's when fun. It's all love when the fans come up to you. So I'm willing to give my time to anyone.
And you know what, mate? I've always said, look, and I think a lot of people say to you, they might, not so much now, I'm not playing, but oh mate, you're such a nice bloke. Well, mate, I'll treat people how they want to treat me. If somebody comes up and says, "Hey, fuck it," like what if someone said that to you? You're going to tell them to piss off, you know? Like,
exactly.
If someone's rude to me, I'm not going to talk to them. If they're polite to me, I'm going to talk to them. Yeah. We look to the season ahead, mate. Can the team go back to back? Where is that now? Again, shortened pre-season. Everyone comes back after Chrissy. How's the club looking moving forward?
Yeah, I think we're looking real sharp. Like Jerome is really coming into his own at the moment. I think he's learning how to honestly control a game, and his kicking game has improved so much. So I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, the Sully thing is a big thing, but we've got Remus Smith training there.
I think he'll be huge.
He's training there in the moment, and he's so good in the air, bro. And like Harry and myself, everything we're training at the moment is flat and fast. Like I don't want to give the secrets away to things.
But that's been the style for you.
Yeah, it's flat and fast. We're going out there to play fast footy, and our forward pack is so fucked. Our forward pack's fucked up. Like who do you pick and who's on the bench in our forward pack? Like you got Christian Walsh, arguably the starting front row for Australia. Nelson Asafa-Solomona, starting front rower.
Kiwis.
Jess, starting front rower for Kiwis. And then Dale Finucane, probably on the bench for Australia. So,
and an origin player.
Who do you have? Then you got Tui Kamifamifa. He missed the whole season, but he's easily the fittest one of us, and he's just built like a brick shit house. I
always look back at the Storm teams when I was here in an early part of the last decade, so early 2010, the tens, teens, whatever you call them. And we had blokes like Norrie and Brett White, Nathan Tolman, Jeff Lima. Fucking tough as nails. Yeah. And, mate, again, like anyone in the Storm team, you go to war with them every day a week and twice on Sundays. Yeah. But they were my height. You know, they weren't big blokes like Nos. Nos fucking had no knees. He was that old. Not Brian Norrie was another. Brian Norrie's
no knee.
Ryan Hinchcliffe. Nos is at Wagga Kangaroos, and the Storm get him from Wagga. But he went on to win comps. It was just a tough team. They built more on tough. Where now, especially the last 4 or 5 years, you've got these man giants. You know, you've got Jesse was the one for ages, but then you had Jordan. He's obviously moved on. But then you just named a few, Nelson and Tino, and now you've got some. And mate, even Walshy's massive, but because he's next to fucking the man child Nelson, sometimes he don't look as big. You know, now you got some of these big boppers. It must be just licking your lips playing behind him as a bloke getting out
For
playing off the
sure,
back.
like even at the wrestle session, it's a massive cock off. Like you've got to fucking
that wouldn't be fun.
You got Walshy he's the up and comer. He's been looking up to Jesse all his life, and Jesse he's the alpha dog of the Storm, regardless of what anyone says.
He always will be.
He's the big dog, and just the wrestle sessions, bro. Just watching them go at it is fucking. It's like those big fat walrus things that battle to be the king of the mountain.
What's old mate who does the voiceovers?
Yeah, he came in the other day.
That bloke does the voiceovers for National Geographic.
Yeah.
That's why you need David Attenborough just commentating the wrestle sessions.
Oh, yeah, mate, and just knowing that they're still the old fucking alpha dogs and they're still battling it out and they still go as hard as ever.
And it still matters to it, doesn't it?
It still matters.
The fire in the belly.
Yeah.
Mate, we move on. You know, I won't... If you want to venture your future, obviously that's down the track. Speaking about when your contract's up. Because you signed actually... Well, did mention you got re-signed again to like a 5-year deal, wasn't it? Back in 2017. That's not a bad impact you make straight away. I usually get years taken off my contract once I get there. They go, fuck, what have we done with this bloke? Hooker and lock. I know you want to play hooker. I know you are a hooker. And you know what? In all honesty, if I thought you as a hooker, I'm still putting you in the top half dozen hookers in the game. No doubt. I look at you at lock. And I think that's your best position just for this reason only. And that's just my opinion. I always think, what would I want? What wouldn't I want to face? You know, I'd rather you with your head up your ass first than coming at you. And you know, you're effective in either position. But with your speed and footwork, and like I said, your leg speed, the way you can have the advantage line, you just fucking at them. And you know, you're just as effective at either position. It must be fucking tough. But where's your opinion on that? And I'm not asking you to start some controversy thing where you want to play. Because I know you grew up always playing hooker, so you must have a love for that position. But I know you play wherever you fucking... whatever the team needs as well.
Like,
you know?
Regardless, I'm still going to play wherever...
And do you bust your ass?
Craig wants me to play, but... Yeah, like it's crazy because I grew up playing hooker all my life, and well, not really all my life, but I grew up playing majority hooker, and like I do enjoy it. And then the last 3 seasons playing at Melbourne, I fucking love playing lock as well. Like it's just as fun, but it's just that I don't know what I want to do like long term career wise.
Because you I would think that your body would be different if you're going to play hooker.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to be weighing as much as you'll be playing lock.
Nah,
would that be right?
Way.
Or?
Like I'm like 94 kilo now, which is pretty light for me. Like I'd play at like 99 when I'm playing lock, so I look like a block of cheese. But yeah, I'm still trying to drop even more weight. Like I want to be like 91 and play hooker. And yeah, well, I had to put on that weight because I was getting fucking bullied. Like not really bullied, but
but just the bigger bodies.
I was feeling the.
Eventually wears you down, doesn't it?
Yeah. But at the same time, if I'm going to be a starting lock in another team and be a world class lock, like I don't mind that as well. But at the moment, I'm putting my eggs in the basket because I want to play hooker and I want to play hooker for my country, and that was my original position, and I still got a lot to learn as a hooker, I think, and even just this training, because like for the last 3 years I've barely even trained at hooker. Like I trained lock all the time because
the fucking bloke there,
because the bloke
never misses anything.
Even then it was Harry was the hooker. Harry was the hooker in the Renegades, and I would be on the NRL team, and so I'd have to play lock, and even just this preseason, like being able to play hooker, I fucking feel so much different. Like I feel like it's coming more natural to me now, even though like it's been only a couple of years.
How's the things and the Renegades? I actually gave the nickname Renegades. I did because I'd come back in 2013, so I'm in the reserve grade team. We're running, and there's a big back. The BBL just started, so the first graders had the green bibs on. They're like the Melbourne Stars because they had Warnie and all the great. And the Melbourne Renegades were fucking dog shit the first year. So and we had the red bibs. So I called us Reggies the Renegades. Anyway, there's a bit of history for you Storm fans.
There we go.
Again, how's it? You know, if I'm in your, I don't want you to think. You know, I just want you to fucking get the ball and go. You know, how's that been for you? Just and then that's and I know you've got it in you. I'm not saying you haven't, but your full first grade career. Like, 'cause Smithy's never misses anything, let alone training, let alone a game. Your whole goes, mate, I just want energy, I want explosiveness and enthusiasm. And that's who you are, you know. Your fucking energy and competitiveness is off the charts. That's why you're such a valuable player. How's that been training, just the subtleties of hooker, you know, like holding up a marker and, yeah, it might be on for me to run here, but I've got to count numbers and I need Munster to get the ball, you know, like, because sometimes, it's a quick play the ball and you might get fucking take, you know, I can get 10, 15 metres there, but hang on, Munster wants the ball, I've got to get it to him. How's that change where, for you who's just a fucking let me at him type of player, where you might have to, you know, pump the brakes a bit sometimes and play a bit slow, not always fast.
It's sort of been like the same. Like I still, because that Craig, even though I'm hooker, Craig wants me to do that. He wants me to fucking get out, because my best thing is my running game. And it's Harry as well. So we've both been just to have the license to run as well, and it's them react to us rather than us listening to them. But
so if you go, just fucking go.
The subtleties is like finding out when the halves are fucking not doing too well. And you have to take control of the game instead of letting Munster and Jerome tell you what to do. It's you decide when what they're doing isn't working, and you have to take control, and you have to boss Jesse and Nelson around. It's those things, and
get them to certain points on the field. Or
Cameron Smith got that respect from us. Like we respected him. Whatever he said, we listened, and like it's getting that respect from Nelson, Jess, Dale, and all that. Even though we're the young blokes. So
and I think you've already got the respect. I always found, and if it's any bit of advice I give, a bit like ball playing when I was a halfback. You know, I played a lot with Hoffy, and I remember Hoffy always saying, like, I'd go to the line.
Hoffy and ball playing in a sentence.
I'd be ball playing Hoffy when old Hans Hoffman would be juggling Hoffy. But I'd go to the line, and it's a bit like you're the foreman. They're just the tradesmen. They're the labourers. You're the foreman as the ball player. And a few times you'd go to the line, and you know, I'm going to get fucking smashed here, but usually just told, let the fucking big fellas take the smack. But a few times I remember holding back and I'd cop a lick, you know. And Hoffy would go, fuck, he could have hit past it. He should have passed it to me then, and I would have got fucked, but he held on to it. Yeah. So the next time Hoffy comes, he's coming 3 times as hard. So it's, you know, I've got no doubt you've got that. You've already got that respect from your teammates. You're Kiwi International Premiership winning with the boys. You're well a part of the team now. Yeah. I guess it's probably just that ball playing role and knowing that when it's just a lot more.
Yeah, it's a lot more thinking and it's like you said, the subtleties of holding up a marker and counting numbers and knowing when you've beaten a marker. You know, it's a lot to take in, but you know it's good because me and Harry we're real fucking good mates. Yeah. So
which is great. Push each other.
Exactly, everything, and we compete with each other so well, and that's what drives the best out of me at training, and that's what drives the best out of him because I'm trying to be better than him, and he's trying to be better than me. So we're being better for everyone. Yeah. So
exactly right.
It's good, and
the only thing it's not better for is the fucking rest of the competition.
Exactly.
Right, mate. I've got just to finish. Got a word association game because it's not so much word association, a little different. It's whatever fucking really pops into your head. Whether it's a sentence, a story, one word, fucking whatever, it's just something you think of. Just throw it out there because you're about the only player in the fucking game who says what he thinks. So you ready to go? We will finish with this. Craig Bellamy.
Slipping over in the shower.
Hang on. When did this happen?
Mate, he's got... at the moment, he's got this fucking...
I expected to go punch him out there, but it's Craig Bellamy slipping over in the shower.
He's got this... Because he always pay... Like, Craig will try for a good hour just to pay you out. Like, he'll be walking up and down the sideline just calling me fat, like, piece of shit, like, just like, and, like... He's got this big tennis elbow at the moment, and I was like, why the fuck you got? What happened there? And he's too stubborn to get it drained or anything. He's like, nah, you can go away.
Just the fluid in the elbow,
bro. It's like
a tennis
huge. Ball. But yeah, he's telling us that he's getting to that age where he stood in the shower and he's just slipped over and taken a big. So we just pay him out for it all the time.
Oh, that's gold bellyache. Cameron Smith,
the goat.
Melbourne Storm.
Best club ever.
COVID.
Fuck it, man. I hate it so much.
Bubble.
Sunshine Coast. I want to go back.
Munster.
Everyone's like, oh fuck! I hope Sunny Coast doesn't happen. I'm like,
You go back.
please go back to
It
Sunny
certainly
Coast.
beats a cold winter's night in Melbourne. Cameron Munster.
Beers, lots of them, and fucking fat. He's so fat.
But was he? So let's quickly go. Here was your drink. From what I've seen, and obviously we spoke the Tuesday or Wednesday after he's won the grand final. Was it you two just really leading the charge?
Yeah, well,
Like an Abbott and Costello, Bert and Ernie, whatever you want to call it.
At the end of like all the celebrations, there was only a couple of us left, and we went up to one of the boys, Darren's room, and he was laying down on the bed, and it was just me and Munster out on the balcony, and he had fucking fully matched like pajamas on and a cowboy hat, and we were smashing back smokes like they were fucking nothing. And bro, Craig was walking past, and Munster, bro, he gets away with anything. He can do whatever he wants, like, and he's just sitting there just paying Craig out, sipping a beer. I was like, bro, he's trying to get a hold of Mal Meninga to fucking ask to stay in Byron for the night.
Fucking did alright, didn't he?
Oh, mate.
I tell you what, if there's any time to spray bellyache, it's after you win the grand final. Ski mask.
Yeah, grand final winning.
Grand final ring.
Gave it to my mum.
Beautiful. The soft side for all you.
There we go.
All your ones there. Kiwis.
Just an absolute honour, and I love it, eh? I love them so much.
Kangaroos.
Yeah, respect.
Respect
them. They are fucking. They've been the pinnacle of rugby league for years. So
nice, mate.
I want the Kiwis to
be like that. Back to back.
Exciting.
Hooker.
What kind of hooker?
Yeah, I was going to say. I was waiting for you to say position I want to play. I was going to say 700 an hour. You know what? I wrote this down last night, and I said, "Fuck! I hope he thinks like I'm thinking like this." I said, if he says that's the position I want to play, I'm going to say 700 an hour. Annoying teammate. Is there any there?
Fuck yeah. I'd have to say Harry Grant.
And Mad Monday.
Yeah, Jeez, they're pretty wild, bro. Some of the Mad Mondays we've been on, like that 2018 grand final, there's about 100 fights. So there's too much testosterone in some of those, man. Mad Monday, we need a new place to do it. So fucking any place in Melbourne, because I'm sick of that fucking. Is it still the same place?
Where he's doing that now?
Richmond.
Not the precinct.
No. Yeah, none of the
Swan.
No, not the Swan.
Vaucluse.
Fuck, I don't know. Every time I go there, I don't remember.
Exactly. Well, you know you've had a good Mad Monday, and that's the case. Mate, thanks very much for coming in. I fucking really appreciate it. Again, mate, obviously, you know what I think of being a former Storm player, how much the respect the current players give the former players who come down there. But to see the way you play, as a former player, you just fucking love it. The competitiveness, the emotion, how much it means to you. It's just fantastic, mate. And wish you all the best again this year, and I can't wait to see the Purple Army going back to back again, mate. So thanks a lot, mate, and have a lovely rest of the day off.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Bella.